because that's not in our control. Because there's a vehicle of esports called the PC. It's always a PC has a problem. And sometimes we just go into the game.
Uh-oh.
Not going to be Sky Temple. It's going to be BOE, which is historically Black's most famous map, but not actually their highest win rate map. And so it's not a surprise we go here.
Okay, we saw a Sylvanas on Friday. And a Syndragosa. Of course, that was against Raven. But that Sylvanas used to be one of Black's favorite on this map to snowball and just have the last game just finish in like 7, 9, 8, 9 minutes. They always use Sylvanas and just rolled in the map.
Yep. Well, I mean, that was something they used back in summer 2016 a lot. That was what they were famous for doing back then. I would love to see it again, to be honest. It's really been a while, but yeah, Battlefield of Eternity, a map that Black and Tempest were super strong on back at that Global Championship 2016, especially Black. Had some of the fastest win times on it with that Sylvanas comp. E-Star as well, famous for running the Sylvanas on this map at the international event. I don't think we'll see it necessarily in this game. The reason why you take BOE, I think, over the Sky Temple is because the Sky Temple pick is, it's a little bit riskier.
Yes.
And Black really would prefer that L5 has to play the playoffs again. They would actually prefer Tempest to take second place. They really want this series. If L5 wins any other games, then they're through. They will go to BlizzCon directly with Black. So that's why Black wants to close this series right now to prevent that.
And so far, especially in Game 3 and somewhat in Game 2, they have been, L5 has been, not L5, Black has been winning in team fights oftentimes there. They were drawing out and L5 was losing control a little bit at the end of Game 3 also. So, in this map, you basically, really, you can push out and start the team fight on your own. This basically, with the 2-lane map, it's really hard to macro out this one. So as you have the momentum in the team fight, it's better. I think this is a solid choice coming out from MVP Black because of those reasons.
Well, should be headed to that draft very soon. So first pick for L5 means they could try to control the draft. They tried to do it with Tyrael last game. I have to imagine that that is what they're going to try to do similarly on this map. Tyrael makes it very difficult to dive upon a team on this map, and when you dominate on this map, you dominate hard, but I think this is going to be a close fight, and it's going to, whoever gets a slight lead will force the other team to dive, and Tyrael will be very strong in that moment. So a hero to think about as we go into this one quite heavily.
Maybe they will, both teams have been banning Uther a lot in the... It seems like we're having another technical issue. The big day, of course, that's when things happen. Things happen all the time, and oftentimes it happens together.
There are about, across all language streams, like 20,000 people watching this right now. 20,000 people. Got to be patient. I'm sorry. And imagine if you're the guy who's like got the clean feed of our faces. You're like maybe the German caster, right? He's probably listening to this right now.
Look at those two guys.
And he's like, but he's like also having to do this, but he's like, he's watching the clean feed, right? But he's got us muted. And he's probably like, I guess we're about to go into game. I don't know. But then like he has to like then watch us, and we go from the match screen back to us, and he's like, what? Maybe he like turns us on, and he's like, oh, he said there's a problem. He has to translate that into like the German on the German stream. Oh man, I feel bad for us, but I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for the 20,000 people at home that are probably losing their patience. But please hang out with us a little bit longer, guys. We will be going to the game soon, no doubt.
As this is an epic series, no matter what, it's game 4. It may be the game series ending game, but who knows? We may go all the way to game 5. L5 still has a very good swing back, and they've been really picking hyper carry Vala, and Q Vala especially works pretty well in BOE when you're racing for that immortal.
This is true. Definitely a pick that we'll likely see come into the high parts of the draft, maybe even banned. Looking at bans we've seen throughout this series, a lot of ETC. ETC was, of course, chosen at the end there by L5. Oreo banned in games 2 and 3, so avoiding that hypercarry, only playable in game number 1. Tyrael was played in all 3 games, and in each one played by L5. MVP Black has given that away to L5, so those are some other trends to notice. And beyond that, I mean, it's really the interesting thing is for DPSs. We'll talk about DPS. SC's played Greymane and Vala only, whereas Black has had Rich on Vala, then Kyocha on Tracer, and obviously Greymane played by Rich as well. So 3 kind of different types of DPS, whereas L5 is leaning towards the Vala that you mentioned. So those are the things to consider as we go into this draft, and it's a really good way for me to look at my piece of paper and buy some time as we wait for this game. Oh!
And make sure you look
Perfectly
at
timed.
Wolf's handwriting. It's amazing.
Okay, we're here.
We're here. And Castar ban. Okay, this is a change instead of Uther. Seems like they're moving away from Vala. Maybe even without the Tastar, they want to keep Vala.
Okay, Ariel locked in. So, what's it going to be? Immediate Tyrael, same as Game 3. We talked about this before we even came to the draft. We knew this was a very likely priority. So strong against dive. Could be, this time, for the first time, Sake on the Vala with this Uther Vala rotation.
May just be Rich once more.
Could be.
If they go hyper carry Vala. But they got Uther now, which has been banned away. Basically all second series.
So last time they went into the Vala comp after the Tyrael. They won't be able to do that this time. They went Vala, Lucio in a similar situation on Towers of Doom. So Lucio's still available, still very powerful. Could be used here. Not as strong versus Vala's, longer damage, more powerful versus burst and combo-oriented kind of compositions. But Lucio available. Could be going down the Greymane path here. Could be Greymane Lucio. Would like that a lot. Go for the throat Greymane.
Yep, pairs up well with Tyrael, as everyone knows.
All right.
Maybe they'll take another.
Greymane Lucio.
Okay.
This is what we thought.
Very, very standard. Keeping their strategy.
Hasn't worked fully for them throughout the series yet. Thought we might see a support ban here. This seems to be what Black is really focused on in this series. Towards the Muradin, though. Knowing that CC is going to be very powerful coming up. Also, if L5 decides to ban a Morales, for example, which I think is a very high chance, the Muradin will be strong against the ETC that they will likely take if Morales is banned. Okay, so Morales gets banned. We knew this only because of this series. This would have never been standard even yesterday. Even though Morales was played on Friday, this is something we've learned throughout this series.
Silence coming in to counter the dive.
An ETC, so no surprises. This draft is actually getting to be like really figured out, I think. And now you've got this silence that counters the dive, can ruin Tyrael, can stop him, because if you actually watch the play from Tyrael in this series, it's been all about diving for the sanctification to engage into it with the Greymane, to engage into it with the Vala. And so if Stukov is on the money when he sees that sword go down and pops the silence where Tyrael is, he won't be able to use the Sank, he'll die, and Greymane won't be able to engage anymore. So you can win a fight straight up in that way, and noticing how L5 has positioned their Tyrael in the 2 games they played, or sorry, excuse me, 3 games they played him, I think is a nice reactionary Stukov pick.
And also it's a nice steal away from the other side. If L5 had Stukov, oftentimes with Vala or even ETC we saw in game number 1, game number 2 actually, when they were trying to escape, those silences were very annoying to deal with. So taking it in your hands instead.
Arthas and the Rhaegar here, so basically a full
Greymane
comp. Yeah. Last but not least, we're really looking for Rich's hero here. If he's not going to be playing the Vala, we're looking for the solo laner. Solo lane very important, who will face off against Arthas. He has beaten Arthas in solo lane with the Sonya before, but Malthael is so powerful on this map for the objective. Problem being that Tyrael's on the other side, so tough to pick a Malthael here in terms of team fighting. Sonya, tough matchup against the Arthas. Rich has won it before, but not against Jung-Ah.
Isolation onto Rhaegar can be pretty nice if you can bring a Dehaka here.
I think the reason why Isolation was so good last time is because they picked Hooligan so many times and he was caught off out of position. And on this map, there's not as many ways that you're ever going to do that because there's no lanes to grab at. So, will we see Rich on the ball? We're about to find out. Will it be the solo lane to battle the Arthas? What's it going to be? Rich Sonya. Okay. Rich on the Sonya versus the Arthas. He's beaten this matchup before against the Arthas. Not an easy one, especially with the Howling Blasts. This is going to be a great top lane to watch. I think this is possibly going to be the best game we've had this series so far. Very balanced comps on both sides. Again, the story of SC against whoever's going to be playing DPS, whether it's Rich this time or Sake. It's going to be the battle of the DPSs. The carries protected by double support. Two support meta is a thing in Korea now. It is the permanent meta here. It may be the meta for months to come. We will find out, but we're going to find out if MVP Black is going to close this series out or if L5 is bringing us to a Game 5 as we head into BOE. In blue, MVP Black, reset on Vala. Sake on Stukov, Kyocha on Uther, Rich on Sonya, and Tist on ETC.
And in red, L5. Hooligan on Tyrael, SCSE on Greymane, Jungha on Arthas, SDE on Rehgar, and Swoy on Lucio.
Lightning Bond. Level 1 here for Rehgar.
Sonya really pressing hard. So there's a lane swap, seems like.
Yep.
As Rich also could block at level 1.
It's going to be pretty even trade. I guess probably a slight advantage to L5 because they attacked first and they have Greymane. Vala, it's just not as good, especially Q Vala, but it's going to be an even trade at the end of all things. Maybe slight lead and damage done to a fort or something like that. MVP is already rotating up. L5 is going to have to back off. They want the healing fountain. That's so important. They are going to get it. Black realizes this, and they commit to get it as well.
Yeah, that's right, but this push from L5 seems a lot faster compared to Black.
Well, they got there first, and they have Greymane. And in fact, we are just going to trade forts here. It's going to be a fortless game on this map.
Let's see how far they go. Of course, it won't be all the way to the keep or core.
I'll never say never, but I don't think so, yeah. We've seen games like that before. Oh, that's just going to be a fort traded. Looks like the very slightest lead to L5 in terms of experience because of the faster rotation over for L5. Black responded quickly. And now it's going to be about maybe 20% behind on experience. First Immortal is going to give us a lot more information about how these comps are going to operate, though. And the Stukov silence is going to be so critical in this early game. Before cleanse for Rehgar, which will help deal with it.
Sake took slow, which we've been seeing a lot from a lot of the Korean players. We'll stack that up, has it finished. Once it finishes, it has lower cooldown onto your slow. You can slow multiple targets, easy to catch the target along with the silence. But look at this race. So far, L5 just dominating with Greymane.
Reset hyper aggressive here with this Vala, poking out the front. Swoy's harassing him here. Hooligan comes in. They're looking for the burst there. Nice dodge on that Howling Blast there. That was really well done. But still, the chase is real. He gets away. The silence. So frustrating to deal with here. Looks like the race is going to go the way of L5, though. They're on this Immortal. There's no way the Black could catch up. 7k shields lead. And part of the power of Tyrael on the defensive engages like that is the extra shields, the heals coming out from the Rehgar, the Lucio. When the dive comes in, you have the defender's advantage there, on this spawn especially.
It's nicely done by L5, really pressuring in and forcing out the silence to be used right after. And that's on a long cooldown when it's used, so L5 really made a big pressure. I think they're going to keep using that with the Lucio. I think that's exactly why Lucio is just top tier in Korea right now, even banned sometimes.
Certainly so. All right, here we go. This is going to be a moment to receive permanent
Vala
damage
onto
done.
CC. They want to do more. The silence does not connect onto too many.
Okay, this is actually really important for L5. They need to do more here. They get the kill. Can they get 2? Sake's booped in. That's a double. Could be a triple. And what Rich is doing in the top lane is nowhere near as significant. He stayed up there solo to try to mitigate the experience lead that L5 would get. They had confidence that MVP Black would be able to, in the bot lane, defend that push a lot better, but the coordinated attack for L5 did too much to them. Oh my god. I wonder if those shots actually... I wonder if the shots actually went to the core. Oh, Hooligan's like, hold on. Those shots should have hit.
The shots were hit. We need a pause here.
But now they lost an entire keep. They traded keep for almost a wall.
Well, you think you're safe behind the fort. You think you're safe, but once there is a speed boost on to the other side, you will be chased. You will be focused. I think Vala was... I can't really call and say out that Vala was in a dangerous positioning in the front line, but you kind of knew that they would dive in along with the Immortal just like that. So I think we're really seeing the power of Lucio in every single moment just like this.
So Hooligan had problems with his headset, his sound in his headset for a moment. So as soon as it's resolved, we will resume the game. Looks like it's actually been resolved already, I think. That's what I heard. So just a very brief pause this time. And but huge win here for L5.
Yeah. If this is your first time watching Korea, of course, we do play offline, and there are technical difficulties. Not as many as this, though. We barely ever have pauses for matches.
No.
But today, just for you guys to enjoy this long time, and for us to greet you guys and all have fun together.
It's a tactical pause by us trying to wait for more Europeans to wake up to watch this.
Maybe. For NA viewers, too.
Or NA viewers, I guess, more than Europeans at this point. Excuse me. I'm a little bit sick this weekend, and as you guys could probably hear, my voice is pretty gone.
Too much energy for heroes, yo.
But, yeah, I mean, these pauses, again, they happen. People have headset problems. For MVP Black now, they're going to be a talent tier down briefly. There's not much objective control that L5 can gain from this, I suppose, though, so it's not the end of the world. L5 had to Hearth Home. They couldn't steal the camp. They couldn't invade. This is some really like advanced stuff we're seeing from L5. From the level 1 lane swap that tricked MVP Black, that wanted to put so much into the Sonya solo lane, to their coordinated dive of the fort. Really impressive. And it only works with Lucio, as you said. I'm going to trade neutral camps here. MVP Black, as I mentioned, is behind a level, but the talent tier disadvantage is so brief. Structural lead, though, is going to be the big story here. 2 forts down for Black, so L5 has that entire fort lead.
Rich did commit all the way in, but he couldn't really do much compared to the 4-man push at the beginning. He needed a lot more time, and meanwhile his teammates were dead. He couldn't even get the fort. I don't think it's even damaged at all.
A hold on this Shaman camp, actually, currently. I want to time this with the Immortal, it looks like. So just going to leave Arthas there to wait for that timing while L5 is currently invading right now. Both teams want to make the maximum value for this. That's why this invade is more proactive for L5. It forces the time to be a little bit worse. I mean, we're talking the slightest of slight. So John can take this at the perfect timing. Is it going to matter that much? Yes, actually. If L5 clears this right now, it will matter a lot. That's why MVP is protecting this while the Immortals spawn.
Yeah, because Sonya will have to go up and clear, so they want to come in and maybe even fully commit and make this into a team fight. Sonya is going down, trying to flank from the side.
Okay, Shaman camp's down here, so mission accomplished for L5. Their camp is going to be more valuable in the top lane now as we head into this Immortal phase. Someone will have to clear that, or it will start to do damage to the keep wall. So, really important position now for L5. They had their aggressive invade, forced an early cap, very successful. Now Rich isn't here, and him being gone alone is enough for them to be able to get into a better position. And actually, they're going to look for a gank attempt on him. Rich is looking for the mount.
Ooh, Rich the spot. Nice. Good.
Good game sense there.
Good game sense there. I was about to say good nose for smelling L5 coming up, but they are into aggressive positioning now. CC's does not connect.
He's still not there. Rich is still cleaning the top lane right now.
It's taking a long, long time.
So L5 is getting a lead here in terms of the Immortal Shield. Soy always there looking for a boop on the reset, always looking for that angle. So they can try to get the kills here. No level 10 just yet, so no go for the throat. And finally that top camp is cleared, but L5 has a massive lead in terms of health now as a result.
L5 is really controlling the macro against Black right now. I mean, not just right now, in this entire series, I think they are above a level, but Reset getting tons of damage. They're pressuring in. Jungla doing some CCs, but Sonya is still alive and healthy.
Okay, Rich is being focused down here. He's gone. Reset's going to go down so easily now. SC does get stunned, but it doesn't matter. There's enough DPS here. That's going to be the pick onto Tist as well. And this is going to be a heavily shielded Immortal. L5 gets level 10 from this. And dominating this game right now is L5. In Korean Heroes of the Storm, sometimes it's the little things, like a camp timing advantage because of an invade and one Aldruin sword there that makes MVP Black cap a few seconds before you. That means you can clear the cap, which means Sonya has to be top, and everything changes in that one moment. L5 gets the lead, forces Black to be more aggressive. They take the defensive engage.
Yeah, but for you to do that in blind spots, it takes courage, it takes teamwork, it takes guts. Sometimes you need to risk those changes, and L5 did, instead of Black just waiting on their spot. I think that really changed the shift. They were leading at the moment, so it was a lot easier for L5 to actually do that, but also that, I think, really changed this entire Immortal.
Syndragosa is being held here too, by the way.
Oh, they may want to finish the game if they want to have
If they get a pick, maybe.
Here.
Yeah, if they get a pick, maybe they go for the Syndragosa. Syndragosa could get them this keep. They're not going to commit to it, though.
But no, not this time, and Mosh Pit locked in from Tist.
Hooligans very low. Silence, no sank, no sanctification. Interrupted by the silence. We talked about this in the draft. Such a clear moment here of exactly what we talked about. When Aldruin's in, it's such an obvious sank location. Boom, silence comes in. Will they save this keep? They will. A huge moment here for MVP Black. So important they save that keep.
The sanctification could have been dropped without the silence, and if it was dropped, I think Raymain, along with the back line, could have just dove in to the keep and maybe got the keep, or even more, maybe kills going out for L5 there. But great silence coming in from Sake, that perfect positioning right next to the keep. Now they want the pressure a little bit more as they have some space. They want to take this fort down as there's some time before the camp arrives onto the keep wall at the bottom.
Okay. Well, that camp is going to eventually get there, so Black needs to make something happen soon or back off. They need to be decisive here, not indecisive. So now they have to use Flailing Arm to actually get the mounts. That Flailing Arm grants everybody mounts. They get the mount up, so that means they can get through this minion wave. They escape. They'll need to go deal with that Impaler camp. Looks like they want to take, on their way down, potentially this the Sapper camp, the Fallen Shaman camp, so camps will be traded. Look at again. Tyrael's rotating over to try to mess up that camp timing. I don't know exactly when the Immortal's going to spawn this time. Should be soon, though, so maybe they want to hold it. Nope, just going to insta-cap it. With the wave pressure they already have in the top lane, L5, and how low that keep is, I can understand. They're going to invade. Invading again, being proactive, but yet again, Sank denied by the silence.
Nicely done, and he wants more Soy. Almost goes down from the poison damage. Oh, wow. Hooligan was trying to make the noblesse move, going in and maybe dropping a Sank, but there's not enough. The silence kicked in at the perfect timing. Well done by Sake.
So, invade again. Proactive attempt for L5, though. Even though it didn't work, you have to give them credit for it, and I think being proactive like this is what might bring them back in this series. Immortal spawn. Caps cleared. This time Sonya will be there from start to finish. Not going to be dealing with that camp like she was last time. Did have the respawn from Tyrael, so he's back here as well. Looks like Soy just wants to deal with this push for the time being. They're going to take the defensive stance. Both teams dive on both sides, very difficult. But Black has tools like the Divine Shield, like the Flailing Arm to get into good position. L5 similarly does have the Sanctification. I think baiting out the Lurking Arm first before using the Aldruins is the best way to make a Sank engage work for L5 because clearly Sake has their number on these. Hooligan's coming over now. Checks this bush. He's looking for that hard engage. There it is.
Sonya's down there, so they are making the engage, focusing on to Uther for now. The rain is good as there here comes Sonya.
Stun into the wall here against Hooligan. Sank once again interrupted. He's got the Aldruins down again. Sake's waiting for it. Not even going to commit this time. Too risky. L5 has to back off. This is a good opportunity for MVP now. And Rich is in the front here, doing that damage, getting that lifesteal. This is going to force a big reaction. SC misses his cocktail. Does get stunned, but will live through it here. Jungha versus Rich is the battle to watch right now.
Silence Hooligan is looking for that sanctification angle. Reset is pressuring in as doing max damage with the Qs.
Just finished his quest as well. You can see that light glowing there, letting you know. But MVP wins this battle. They will win halftime with full health on their Immortal, not a scratch on it on the side of L5. Well, maybe that one Eldrin scratched a little bit.
On it.
Yeah, just one little scratch. Basically impervious, though. Okay, now L5 is going to hard engage. They need to win this. Swipe does ruin the advance. Save the stun.
Wanted to come in, but great disengage from Reset.
A silence already used. This is an opportunity for Sank. He knows the silence is going to be on cooldown. This is when he can engage with that Aldruins. There it is. Not going to be it, though. The team has already retreated. So by the time he can fight again, the silence will be ready again. And this is going to be a fully shielded Immortal. MVP Black, great crisis management here. Denials of 2 different sanctifications. They win the longer fight.
Just in time, and Sonya just went up to clear the huge wave on top. If L5 actually stalled 20, 30 more seconds, this huge wave on top could have done some damage to the keep. Now this Immortal is actually pushing top because, of course, Immortal always goes to a healthier lane. And now the pressure on top can be nullified with this Immortal now for MVP Black.
This is going to be a tense moment for L5. You can still look for that Sank engage, but again, it's going to have to be once the silence is on cooldown. That's not the only way they can engage it. It's their best bet, right? And it's just been so well done by Sake all series long with the silence. Is going to use this to zone now because the Immortal still has ranged attacks. This is a safe way to get rid of this wall. Jungha's coming in from the side here. Hooligan does get interrupted again. No Sank here. Mosh Pit, Divine Shield, triple here, and Rich is going to clean him up here with Reset. This may be game. So well played here. Countering that engage there with the Arthas, coming in with Divine Shield Mosh. Everybody was stacked up. That's going to be the end of this series.
Jungha knows the game is over. And that's the game. That easy, that clean. Shield Mosh, insanely done. There's the P steps, sprays, drop everything, boys. MVP Black will take the series.
They're going to take it 3-1. Very likely we're going to have that tiebreaker match between L5 and Tempest to decide who's going to BlizzCon directly. High fives all around. The Holy Cow is the one that ends this series in a flash. Divine Shield was perfect. They came in. It was like, it almost looked like no words were spoken. It was just an understanding, a connecting of minds. The ETC comes in, the Divine Shield comes during that power slide. Boom, Mosh goes down, and the dreams of L5 are shattered in one instant.
Just one Mosh, one single Mosh in that game was the game-ending Mosh.
And now MVP Black 13-0. Their last opponent, their last match is against Raven, who would pretty much seal the deal, sign the contract. This team is going to be 14-0, undefeated. The only team ever in this entire year to be able to end a split with 0 matches lost.
Well, MVP Black seems like they will be very close to get that 14-0. Made it 13-0. Seems like we're having a tiebreak between Tempest and L5. Of course, assuming that Tempest will win their last match 3-0, and also L5 winning their last match 3-0.
Very likely. Those matches...
I think it is the first tiebreak of HGC that may happen.
Those last matches, by the way, are L5 against Raven.
Yeah, that's very likely 3-0.
And Tempest against Blossom. So that's less likely, but still very likely.
A lot less likely, but we may actually see an upset. But Tempest will, of course, do their best too.
Yeah, to get the 3-0 because they need it.
They need it.
So
to have, I wonder, that tiebreak on the last day before the week of. That's amazing. That will be an epic game between ranked 2nd and 3rd. Going it's BO5, right? The same
think so. I
drill?
actually don't know because it's never happened to us before here. So I imagine at worst case it's best of 3, but it's probably a best of 5.
I want it to be best of 5.
I want it to
an
be
epic
best of
series.
7. Like,
I want it best of 11.
We want to do best of 69.
There are
like,
only 9 maps. 2 maps are banned. You can only have best of 7. Yes.
So we're gonna have an interview with our MVP. Sake is my MVP tonight. I think
Rich is. Oh, he's been there too many times, but I think he's the MVP.
Kyocha as well. Incredible play on the Tracer.
That's
tonight.
right.
We'll see who it's gonna be as we head into this finally here. It's been a long night of HGC. Let's find out who the MVP is, and G-Clef will translate that interview. Here we go.
자 오늘의
It
MVP
is
Kyocha
Kyocha.
선수와 함께합니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
자 오랜만에 뵙습니다. 같이
been a while,
그때
Kyocha.
하고 이제 선수 MVP로서 이 자리에 오셨는데 오늘 소감
You're
어떠십니까?
the MVP for tonight. How do you feel?
솔직히
네.
Honestly,
저희는 딱히 템페스트를 2등으로 보낼 생각은 없었는데
well,
오히려
we weren't really
한지
thinking of
내려놓고 편하게
having
하니까
Tempest
잘
as a
된
second
것 같아요.
place.
아까 화면
But
봤을
we
때
weren't really
그렇게
thinking of the
편하게
other
하지 않았는데요? 막 얼굴 상기돼 가지고
other things.
긴장해가지고
We actually
이겼다 그 느낌이었거든요.
took this
그런 얘기를
comfortable.
할 수밖에
예.
없는 게 경기를 치르고 나니까 지금 수염이 덥수룩이 자랐어요.
And after the match,
네.
seems like you
저는
grew
제
some
나름대로의
grew some mustache
징크스.
there.
아,
그냥 안 갖고 와요. 원래
음.
경기 날 잘.
경기를 하는 동안 굉장히 많이 잘한 줄 알았는데 아 징크스.
Usually I do not shave on the game day. I think that's why.
오늘
It's one of my
경기도 쉽지
jinx.
않았잖아요.
네.
To not shave on the game day.
L5라는 팀이 블리즈컨에 가게 됐을 때
네.
라이벌 관계,
If
라이벌
L5
구도
makes it to BlizzCon,
그게 좀 유지가 될까요?
the rivalry, do you think that's going to
저는
continue in
솔직히 홀리건
BlizzCon?
선수랑
네.
그 손종희 선수가 왔을 때는
SE and Hooligan,
쉬워 보였었는데
when they joined the
그렇지
team
않았고요.
initially,
이번
they looked easy, but
클래시 때도 그렇고
after an
그래서
Eastern
계속
clash,
강력한 라이벌이라고
I
생각하고
think they
있어요.
are a very strong
저희가
rival match.
조금이라도 막
against us.
연습을 안 한다고 하면은 충분히 밀릴 수 있을 것 같아요.
I think if we lack in practice
자,
time, even
이렇게 해서
by a little bit,
지금
I think they can
블랙이
actually win over
L5의
us.
승리를 거두면서 일단 타이브레이커 재경기의 가능성을 싹 높여놨었거든요.
So with this 3-1 victory
네,
tonight,
지금
the-
3대1 승리가 나와서
네.
네.
because of this 3-1,
the
the chances of
3대0으로 다 잡으면
tie-break next
경기예요.
Sunday
네.
is very high.
재밌죠?
네.
네,
다행이네요. 한 번쯤
네,
다행이네요.
It's a lot of fun, right?
네, 뭐
네.
MVP 블랙이 HGC
네.
코리아의 그런 재미를 한껏 더해주고
네.
있는
MVP Black
상황이고.
really bringing the
다행이네요.
entertainment
다행이죠.
value to
그렇죠.
HGC Korea.
네.
I'm glad that I did
L5가 그냥
something.
올라오는 게 좀 싫은가요?
그것도 있고 일단 L5랑 템페스트 서로 하는
예.
게
Well, L5 and
막 3대
Tempest,
이렇게 접전으로
네.
치러지니까
네.
또 보면 재밌을 것 같아서
I think
순수한
it'll be a
마음으로.
great
예.
Wa-
자, 그러면 아마추어
great match to
인터뷰를
watch
한번
as a
해보겠습니다.
fan,
네.
as a
MVP
viewer
블랙
of
블리즈컨
HGC
진출을
also.
확정지은 상황에서 이제는 해외 팀들을 주시하고 계실 텐데 엠블랙이 보는
Of course, you'll be watching lots of
실력에
other
대한 의견이
regions.
궁금합니다.
How do you think your team
저도
is
요즘
compared to
되게
other
잘해서.
teams?
네.
너무 딱히 챙겨보진 않거든요. 근데
Because of
제
practice, I don't really watch other regions too
여태까지의
much.
경험을 밀어봤을 때
네.
항상 푸나틱과 디그니타스가
But from all the experience I had,
메타가 앞서 있던
I
경우가
think Fnatic
많아가지고
and Dignitas usually they were
강할 것 같아요.
a step
그러면은
ahead
이
in the
시원나
meta, and I
메타를
think they
지금
will be the
한국에서
stronger
굉장히 많이
teams
쓰잖아요.
네.
in BlizzCon.
그게 그 블리즈컨 가서 뭐
네.
유럽이나 북미 상대로 잘 통할까요?
And of course, our Korean meta. Do you
저는
think
지금 약간 느낌이
it will be, and your tracer? Do you think it will be effective against all EU teams and NA teams?
아,
어.
약간 늦다.
네,
I think
그런
Korean meta
느낌이
is
좀
a
들어서
bit
막상 가서
slower compared to
해보면은
everyone else.
저희가 아직도 뒤쳐질 수
아,
일단은
뒤쳐져 있을 수도
느낌이
있겠고.
And even when we go to
저는 근데
BlizzCon, I think
오늘
it
첫
can be the same.
삼지연가 들고 나오셨잖아요.
아, 네.
이거
And
전
tonight you had
픽이셨어요?
A triple support
네,
game.
이거 L5가 하는 거 봐가지고
음.
미라클이랑 그래서 한번 해봤어요.
We
어,
watched the match
카운터를 이제 치기 위한
between L5 and
전략으로
Miracle,
들고 온 건데
네,
and we tried
굉장히
something
흐름은
new.
좋았어요.
좋았는데 그 신성한 땅 한 방에
아 그렇죠.
But
아임이
that
아임이
one holy
깜짝
ground.
놀래가지고
And we were
솔직히
gone.
그냥 이길 줄 알았는데.
And I thought we were about to win.
오.
바리안도 솔직히 안 죽거든요.
네,
그쵸, 그쵸, 그쵸.
And Varian is not the best tank.
펼쳐져서 그것 때문에 진 것 같아.
저는
But I think the holy ground really made the
교차
difference.
선수에게 개인적인 질문인데
I have a personal question to
사실-
you, Kyocha.
저희 둘만 아는 일이에요.
네.
FF 때
And
원래 교차 선수가
during FF,
들어올 수 있었어요.
네.
Kyocha,
아, 네,
you
맞아요.
네,
could
그런데
have come into
왜
my
들어오는지
team.
어디에 들어왔더니요?
저희 둘만 아는 얘기예요.
아 예.
FF에 들어올 수 있었는데
FF is an
PC방
old
가기
Korean team that King
귀찮다고.
made.
아니에요.
아니 그때 저한테 전화로
And when you
게임하러
called
가기
me,
지금 안 된다 그래가지고
you couldn't.
운명이 바뀐 거죠.
아니 그때 그게 아니라
You
제가
said you
늦게
couldn't
일어나서
join into
아,
the
맞아,
game
맞아,
and
맞아,
your
맞아,
destiny
맞아.
changed.
그때
맞아요.
용봉타님이
아 맞아요.
받으셨거든요.
그래서 사실 FF에 교차가 있었으면 어땠을까?
If FF had Kyocha
네,
long
이
time
사람의
ago,
운명은 바뀌었을 텐데.
바뀌었을 것 같아요. 제가 거기 FF를 못 들어가가지고 MVP 입단 테스트를 봤거든요.
and because I
더
couldn't
좋은
get into
거죠?
FF, I
잘 됐네요.
네.
더 잘 됐네요.
어떻게 보면
네. 아무튼
I
분위기 잘
got
되고
I started
있어서
trials
네,
for MVP, which is a
네.
better one, I
보기
guess.
좋네요. 보기 좋네요.
네, 감사합니다.
자 이제 이제 이번
FF is
시즌
known for-
2 후반기 마지막 경기만 놓고 있는데
A King,
이제
old heroes
각오와
team that
시청자
King made
여러분들에게
long time ago with lots of Korean pros right now among in all the teams.
Yeah, very famous team
네.
actually. Not very successful
신청차는
compared to
제
MVP.
기준으로는 성적을 좀 낸 것 같아서 이번 이스턴 클래식 때 좀 기분이 많이
To my
나빴거든요.
standard, of course, we didn't
이번에
do
준비 열심히
too well
해가지고 블리즈컨 꼭
in
우승할 수
Eastern
있도록.
Clash, but overall in our
자 그리고 이제
our league
이거
result seems all okay and very satisfying, and in
감사합니다.
upcoming
한 번은
BlizzCon
있는데
we'll
저희가
show a
이거
lot
따로
better
준비한
performance.
아 진짜요?
다른 게 많은데 이거는 교차 거다 해서 네.
And now the
준비했습니다.
present time, the only one remaining
네,
for the
정말
last
마음에
day
들
of
걸요.
the weekend.
아,
It is.
바로 뜯어보시게요. 완전 상남자시네요.
잠시만요.
네.
Wait a second.
천천히 푸세요. 괜찮습니다.
그럼요.
예.
저희는 시간이 많아요.
예.
We have a lot of time.
제약이 없는 방송이라서요. 한번 보여주시기
It's
바랍니다.
murky.
이거 뭐죠?
No.
이게?
Murloc. What is this?
먹기인가요?
Is it murky?
아 감사합니다.
마음에 들죠?
어, thank you.
기분이 좋네요.
정신 닮아서 노블레스.
자,
It
이렇게
looks
해서
like
오랜만에
Noblesse,
이제 저랑
and
같이
it
옛날에
makes me
선수를
laugh.
같이 했던 이제 교차 선수, 이제 이 자리 선수로서 MVP의 자리로서 왔는데 정말 축하드리겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
예. 더욱더 좋은 모습 보여주시기 바라겠습니다. 자, 오늘 경기
And it seems like
결과
that's the
확인해보도록
end of
하겠습니다.
the interview with Kyocha. After they took a win over L5 tonight. Look at this.
Was a great series. It lived up to the hype. We had every game was incredible. We went to late game. We saw different compositions of all types, and like I want to say two things. I think that this meta, this one DPS carry double support meta, will be the new meta for months. It will become the standard meta. I mean, it already is basically, but it is going to be the meta for a while. And I hope that Blizzard doesn't nerf it. I want to see